Hi, Alan Stratton from Aswood Turns. I want to make a bowl out of this hunk of cherry. I'm a little bit worried about this piece because on this side there's a huge knot, so it won't be appropriate for a natural edge. So this will be a standard bowl, but the cracks and such from the pruning on this are going fairly deep. So this will be a standard edge, probably fairly shallow, but there's some potential for some nice figure right through this crotch here. I don't know whether I'll be able to salvage any of it or not, but let's give it a try and turn this green cherry into a nice bowl. I trimmed the corners off this heavy block of cherry on the bandsaw. I don't try for a perfect round cut in case I can find a way to adjust the block before finishing it. If the wood is already gone, it's impossible to adjust much. Then drove a two-pronged drive center into the cut center with a wood mallet. On the tailstock, I'm using a cone live center, then mounted it to my lathe and started work with a large gouge. The knot area is especially difficult to tool. Some wood is much drier, some is end grain, some wood is missing. I cannot seem to find wood good enough for a consistent cut. As I worked off the corners, the block kept coming a little loose on the lathe, as evidenced by the drive center spinning. I tightened the tailstock repeatedly. As I did work up the edge, the wood seemed to shift after each time it loosened. Each time I took a little more wood to re-true the wood. I finally realized the live center was going further into a void with each shift. The knot wood was not improving. It was still drier and very difficult to turn. Finally, the block seems to have shifted. There's about a 3/4 inch difference between the two sides on the headstock side. I gave up and went for my electric chainsaw. I did not want to risk my hands on the bandsaw. Like a chainsaw carver, I slowly and carefully carved off the side containing the knot. With the knot mostly gone, the wood is behaving itself much better. I can quickly finish shaping the exterior. However, the wood is much thinner now. The last thing to do is to cut and refine a mounting tenon. Some would say I should have cut away that wood before even starting to turn. Well, that's an option. However, instead, I prefer to work down the wood and see what I can salvage. Unfortunately, in this case, that did not work, and I had to cut away the wood. Which way is best? It depends. In my case, I guessed wrong. If you're a novice and don't know how to react and adjust to change, then cut it away or discard the block. Otherwise, it is a choice, a challenge, or an adventure. Now I have reversed the bowl into a chuck mount. First task now is to refine the exterior. It has shifted slightly in the new mount. Shear scraping is key to a smooth finish now. It's time for hollowing using my large bowl gouge. This is where I love working green wood. The wood comes out in nice shavings. I'm working the upper outside first, then remove the center. If I'm careful, I can hog out the center with a reverse cut, then finish the inside of the bowl. Even though the bowl is green, I'll sand this one. That's hard to do with the green wood. It loads up the sandpaper almost immediately. I had better luck sanding with my mix of beeswax and mineral oil. Still a pain, but less of one. For this bowl, I'm going to finish turning it before I let it dry. So now it's time to finish the foot. But first, I learned a new trick from Stan Record at a craft supplies workshop. I'm measuring the wall thickness and then the foot thickness. The difference is how much wood I can remove from the bottom before achieving a wooden funnel. Finally, I'm measuring up from the foot and marking my target. Next, I'm mounting the bowl in my DIY coal jaws. Then carefully cut away the excess wood from the foot with a spindle gouge. Easy does it. I had a couple of catches and need better tool control as I start a cut. Then sand the foot area. I like to sign the bowl before I dismount the bowl. This gives me a chance to fix any mistake if I make one. When finished, I sand the burn slightly with my final grit to remove any roughness. Since this 8 by 2 inch bowl is green cherry, it will now dry and shrink. We'll see how much it distorts. No matter what, I think it will look nice. The biggest risk is the remaining small knot in the bottom. I'll control the rate of drying somewhat by storing the bowl in a paper bag for a month or so. It will be nice. We'll see you again next week for another wood turning video. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and tell your friends. Always wear your full face shield. Goggles are not enough protection. Until next week, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. Let's keep on turning.